The opinions expressed in the following paid program do not necessarily represent those of WJZ AM 1300, CBS Radio, its employees and sponsors. A Maven, an expert, an authority, a connoisseur, a specialist, a professional, a knowledge king, a rock and roll sports talker. Coons Ford of Security Boulevard is proud to present The Sports Maven with Bruce Posner, a no-holds-barred look at the sports world. Now, here's Bruce Posner, The Sports Maven.
We got the whole crew in the house today. We got Freddy from Boca, we got Wayne, and we got Intern Mason, and of course Danny Kiddu, who was Manchester City is losing to Chelsea 2-1. Chelsea very lucky to beat Tottenham last week. All right, let's go on with the show rolling today, and we're going to open up with a hot topic that Freddie and myself have been on for years, and I call it the death of the baseball All-Star Game, because now it has no relevance with the winner not getting the home field advantage for the American and National League. It will relegate itself into the same non-event like the NBA All-Star Game is, like the NFL All-Star Game is, and it's done. Who cares about watching it? Guys won't want to play. Freddie, I know you got another opinion.
First of all, guys don't want to play now. They like the recognition of being an all-star. They like the check. They like whatever kind of gift bag they get. They don't want to go to the all-star game. But to have an exhibition game determine home field for the World Series is a farce. And I'm thankful that they changed the rule.
Well, that's over with. Wayne, I'll let you give the last word on that.
On that?
Yeah.
I love watching it when they announce the players and everybody cheers.
They tip the cap. I love that they tip the cap.
That's it. That's it. So if you just did that, you got something. Beyond that, I'm not interested in the game anymore. Used to be, not anymore.
Well, it used to be years ago before free agency, when guys were actually bound to their teams, like as Kurt Flood would say, as a slave. You never saw the National League play. You never played again, other than sometimes in spring training and in the World Series. So there's a lot of hate, actually, from one league to the other, and that was really a good made the foundation for an excellent rivalry, an excellent all-star game, because there was animosity and hate towards the leagues. But now when guys are on 13 teams in their career, everybody on the other team has been a teammate of theirs. There's no more hate and animosity. They're all friends.
Right. I just, it's not worth talking about. It's over with.
Next topic,
let's
please.
Move on.
Ding.
Here's before I get into, we got big football talk today, but I do want to bring this up. Sometimes in life, in sports, and whatever, it's good to trade a guy when he's at the very height of his value. Now, who am I speaking about? Zach Britton. There's 4 or 5 teams, major teams, in the market for a stopper. Rather than the eventual day when we're going to have to pay Zach Britton, is this a time to trade him? Wayne Viener.
Boy, it's hard to get that guy, which is why they're so valuable. So sure, you could trade the guy, but the question always is, who's going to fill those shoes? The Orioles haven't. There's still a possibility here. Put a great team on the field, and to end up not having a closer in the end would be a shame.
Freddie, could Darren O'Day be a closer?
No, I don't think so. Here's my thoughts on what you just said about trading. Number one, I wouldn't trade Zach Britton. First of all,
MLB's talking about it a lot.
I can list you about 1,000 things MLB talks a lot, and you look at it and you go, who's writing this? And most of the guys from MLB don't follow the Orioles that closely. And if all you have to do is watch TV or listen to the radio, and you hear these guys talk, and they go, what are they talking about? Zach Britton is, well, he's the best closer in baseball, obviously. I mean, he was an ERA of, .47 last year with 47 saves and 47 opportunities. You don't trade him. But what you might want to consider doing, consider the fact that Zach Britton is left-handed. He throws 4 different pitches, though you don't see them all because he's a closer right now. And he has a great sinker, is make him a starter. Because if you're looking for a starter for the Orioles, for Camden Yards, the best type of pitcher is a left-handed ground ball pitcher. And Zach Britton fits the bill beautifully. But now you don't trade him. And if you're going to trade him, you have to say, what are you going to get back for him? You just can't throw out, I'm going to trade him for this, or we have to do something about that. What are you going to do if you're going to trade him? Who's he going to? Who's coming back? And what are your needs? What would you trade? If you traded him right now, what would you trade him for?
I try and train him for a great right fielder without question.
How many great right fielders are there in baseball?
Well, if you can get a very, very, very good right fielder.
Again, who?
Well, who's available, Danny?
Well, I mean, you got to think about what the Yankees got for Andrew Miller, and you got to think about what they also got for Chapman. And they did not get they got a boatload of prospects, really high-valued prospects, but they didn't get a star right fielder.
Okay.
I mean, that's just not available.
Then maybe the answer is prospects.
Well, I mean, Dan Duquette very rarely comes out and rules anything out definitively, and he really said, flat out, that he would prefer, very much so, for Zach Britton to be the Orioles closer going into next year if they're going to be competitive as opposed to trading him. And I still believe that the Orioles can be competitive. They were competitive this year when they shouldn't have been, and you got to think.
The light's going to go on here.
Exactly. The light came on.
Hey, look,
wisdom from Danny. Go ahead, Wayne.
You're talking about a guy, 209 innings, 215 strikeouts, and that's 120 saves with 8 blown chances.
He's unbelievable.
You just don't get numbers like that.
One thing about closers is most closers don't really have a long lifespan as far as being consistently good. I mean, there's very few. Obviously, Rivera for the Yankees. Not a lot of guys do 5, 6, 7 years in a row. Most guys 3, 4 years at best, and then they fade off. If Zach was to make him a starter this year, or for whatever happened, if he didn't play for injury or whatever, a guy like Givens would be one that they would consider because he throws hard, he's got a strange delivery, which guys aren't used to, he's getting much better against left-handers, and he keeps the ball down.
A little erratic, though.
Well, he's a young kid.
Yeah, a little erratic.
I mean, anybody. I mean, if I went to you 3 years ago and said, Zach Britton's going to be our closer because Johnson can't do it, you would probably say, Zach Britton, he's terrible. Hey, look at his numbers.
Well, that's one of the theories that guys can become closers. Let's move on to football today.
It's not a theory. Go ahead.
It is a theory.
Go ahead. Next topic, please.
So wait a minute. You're telling me that guys haven't been made closers, like Dennis Eckersley, like starters who couldn't make it, like Britton, become closers?
Dennis Eckersley was a good starter before he became a closer and after he became a closer.
But listen, in other words, sometimes they just make a guy a closer. Zach Britton was not a great starter. He couldn't go more than 4 innings.
Well, see, you're wrong again about that.
I'm not wrong about that.
You're 100% wrong, and I'll tell you why. When Zach Britton, he was rushed to the majors as a young kid, right? He was 5-2 with an ERA of around 3, and he got hurt. And he pitched while he was hurt, and then his ERA dropped. There's a big difference between coming up, being unproductive, and being productive, and then being hurt and pitching while you're hurt.
He was not a great starter.
And a lot of people do say anybody can be a closer. A lot of people say that.
That's ridiculous, too, because his last 3 outs are completely different than the 8th inning, 7th inning, 6th inning.
That's the same thing as anybody can kick a field goal, except when the entire
game's
game's on the
people who say that anybody can do this. I only know baseball like on the top layer, but baseball's like an onion. There's a lot of layers that you have to go through to understand the game well.
Well, maybe we should ask Theo Epstein what he would do.
Maybe. I got one more thing to add. I know we got to move on. A lot of people outside of Baltimore, year after year, project the Orioles to be bad, last place. So it makes sense to somebody who's not here to go, oh, that team will never do anything. We have a lot of faith that Buck and these guys will figure it out.
We see the results. I mean, who's got more wins overall like the last 4 or 5 years in baseball?
Nobody.
The Orioles are right there.
So when you bring up,
they're right there.
I have a question. Where'd you get that Maryland basketball thing? I don't remember shirt from.
From Maryland.
And where's mine?
So it was one of those special events?
Yeah, it was a special event.
How much did it cost you for that shirt?
Am I allowed to say that it was over 4 figures? This is the most expensive piece of Under Armour than buying the company.
It's nice lettering.
That is
And the colors are really, really vibrant. It's black and white.
All right.
That's it.
It's good looking, though.
Next topic, please.
The day ended up at Turgeon's house. It ended up with this shirt.
Okay. Penn State defeats Wisconsin today. Let's say that happens. What Mason says, no way. But Penn State defeats Wisconsin. Why are they not in the Final Four? That's my opinion. Versus
now one of the best teams left.
Michigan. But they're Big Ten champions. They did a better record in the Big Ten Conference than Michigan did. Why is Penn State not in, Wayne? And I know you hate Penn State, but look at it objectively.
Objectively, they're not in because they don't have the wins other than the Ohio State win. The schedule, their Big Ten schedule, wasn't ranked as highly, and they haven't impressed any of the voters who actually count enough to move up beyond this beauty contest where right now they just don't have it. They don't pass the eye test for the people who actually make the decision.
And Michigan beat Penn State 49-10. I think that sticks in the
Penn State was crippled when that happened.
You almost have to not show up to get beat by 39 points.
And then Pitt early. Pitt beat them.
Pitt's good.
They're
What's
good.
wrong with Pitt?
What are they? Are they 7-5, Mason? 8-4.
8-4. They're real good.
They are good.
And the other teams didn't succumb to those fates. So you got compared. Who are you comparing it to? Compared to an average team, Penn State's fantastic. Compared to Ohio State or Michigan, they just don't pass the eye test. The only place they pass the eye test is in Happy Valley.
Wait a minute. Whoa.
Well, the committee, when they voted last week for the BCS for the playoffs, spent 2 hours trying to figure out, is it Michigan number 4 or is it Washington number 4? And after that, there was a large drop for the next group, which was Penn State and Wisconsin. So no matter what Penn State does today or Wisconsin does today, I mean, the best they can do probably is the Rose Bowl.
All right, who's got the most signature win between the schedules of Michigan and Penn State? Which team?
The one win against Penn State was Ohio State. That's
all right, give me a win that Michigan had that was better than beating Ohio State.
I don't have one.
They don't have it.
Well, one win's not going to make your season.
No, but when you beat a team that's going to be in the Final Four, all right, that is a signature win.
Well, Michigan beat Penn State, so I mean that knocks out Penn State. Who else beat Penn State this year? Pitt?
Pittsburgh.
Pitt.
Maybe Pitt should be in the Final Four then.
No, but Pittsburgh lost too many other times. But
bottom line is, it's the Final Four. If Clemson loses, they're out. Other than that, if Alabama loses, I doubt if they would drop to number 5 unless they get 55-0, which is unlikely. The final, I mean, last night with Washington punching their ticket in, and if everything holds form, then there will be no changes.
It's just hard to imagine that there could be 2 teams from the Big Ten in the Final Four, neither of whom won the Big Ten championship.
Well, let's put it another way. Because the NCAA mandated these 2 conferences, everybody has 12 teams has to have 2 conferences, and the rule is the winner of the 2 conferences plays the championship game. They don't say the best 2 teams in the conference play, say the winner of the 2 divisions. So Penn State won their division. In an open voting thing, nobody would pick Penn State above seeing Michigan and Ohio State play again. And quite frankly, nobody in the ACC would want to see Clemson play Virginia Tech. They'd want to see Clemson possibly play Florida State, but you can't do that.
Yeah, I don't think Clemson belongs in. I really don't. I think that they were so lucky. Missed field goals, they won a game on. They lost at home. There's just marginal. They could lose tonight to Virginia Tech. I would not be shocked.
Mason, what are you going to say?
Clemson's a one-loss team from Power 5, so if they win tonight,
they're in.
Puts them in.
They're in.
Whether they should be or not.
On the Penn State case, they won that game against Ohio State at home. They lost that game to Pitt, and at this point, 10-2 or 11-2, if they win tonight, would give them 2 wins over the top 5. But the way that the rankings work throughout the whole season, it would put them out because of the 2 losses and the original set of rankings.
What this does is add fodder to an 8-team playoff, but that won't occur, I think, probably, at least, I think this contract for this Final Four goes to about 2024. But it gives great fodder saying we got to open it up more because there's too many games. This team and this team should be in.
So what if they looked at what's going to happen with the Big 12? Because they don't have 12 teams and they can't go 6-6 with the divisions, next year they're going to allow to take the top 2 teams and have their own playoff. That makes a heck of a lot more sense to me than having 2 divisions and having the division winners play.
Well, one of the conversation right now is to stop the divisions and just you have a 12-team or 14-team conference. You play 14 teams.
For the sake of Maryland, I hope that happens because having to play all these teams is almost. I mean, Maryland will have played 3 teams in the top 6.
We play the Hall of Fame almost every week, and results are mixed.
I think it's great that we play teams like this every week, and it shows us where we're at and where we need to go.
We got a long way to go. Long way to go.
We're in the right direction.
Let's move on. Hey, where are we doing on time here? Are we okay? A couple more minutes. All right. Since we only have a few minutes, we'll put off talking about Maryland basketball in the next segment. And I believe a major event happened this week, and I think you guys might agree with me or not. And that is...
One way or the other, I guess.
And that is... Come on, Freddy, let me finish. And that is Conor McGregor, all right, the UFC champion, applied for a boxing license.
This is legitimate boxing with gloves, not kicking people,
Legitimate
but
boxing with gloves. If Conor McGregor becomes a boxer and becomes a winner, he could spur an interest in boxing that we haven't seen in a long, long time.
Well, we keep bringing this up off there that at one time America was horse racing, boxing, and baseball, and that's all pretty much gone there. That'd be great. It'd be great for boxing. And man, that guy's got some great tattoos, is my response to McGregor.
I mean, he's a character, and he is something. He is above and beyond sport right now, where millions and millions, hundreds of $millions occur on pay-per-view when he fights.
So has anybody seen him as a straight-out boxer who has any indication
Well,
how
if you
good he
watch
is?
him, to me, he's a great boxer. In fact, he's a better boxer than a grappler. But we're going to find out. You got to remember, this guy, he's got the heart of a lion.
Do you have to retrain?
I would think you do. I think there's a learning how to jab.
Boxing's a tremendous. There's so much skill in boxing. It's incredible.
Guys have tried to become fighters and gotten their heads knocked in.
Ed Too Tall Jones is my favorite guy. Gave up.
Remember
after
Will
football.
Chamberlain wanted to fight Ali?
No, I know that was. But Freddy, you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty big, and he got killed. I mean, there's no doubt about it. The sweet science is different. But in essence, a UFC fighter who's not, is he really a great grappler? I don't think so, but he's a tremendous boxer, a tremendous puncher, and he's proven that along the way. I think it's a big story. We shall see. The Warriors are not the Warriors of last year.
They're still the best record in basketball.
Doesn't matter. They're losing. They've lost to big teams. They're getting dominated by big teams. And the loss of Andrew Bogut has been a disaster for them.
What's the Warriors' record right now?
17-3.
What's
dominated? Wow, they lost 3 games.
What's that?
What's getting dominated though? I mean, they got dominated, I guess, in that first game against the Spurs.
It's not that. If you watch, I've watched them 7 or 8 times.
Well, they are not dominating, but they are
They're
not
too
being
small.
dominated.
When they come to a team like San Antonio in the tournament, they're going to get their heads waxed.
So, what was the fist pump for something there?
Chelsea got a lucky goal again. Go ahead.
So it's not.
Okay, all right. Anyway, the Warriors.
That's going on behind me. I can't see it. So I'm focused on, it's not they lost Bogut, it's that they didn't replace him with a legitimate shot-blocking defender guy in the middle.
You mean JaVale McGee isn't that guy?
JaVale McGee, what
But his
Hey,
mother
wait a
might
Wait,
be.
is Cleveland the same? Cleveland's lost 3 in a row. Are they the same team as
But
last year?
they're bringing up that they
What about
sort
what
of,
J.R. Smith did? Did you see that? It was the most unbelievable thing in the world.
He was dapping up his friend on the sideline.
He runs down the court, and what's his name? Jason Terry comes out of the court during the game from the bench, and he hugs him. And the guy that J.R. Smith was guarding runs in for a layup. It was like I can't even describe it.
It was
Well,
like
Cleveland
at
should
the
get
end
a
of a
technical
football
foul
game.
for the guy on the floor to begin with.
It was the other team.
Oh.
The other team's guy ran on the floor.
He's
They
a coach now too. He's not even an active player. But
and
yeah.
they bopped each other, and the guy what was that about?
I guess he thought it was the end of the game, like it was the end of a football game where the time is still coming down and they all come out onto the field. I guess I don't know. That was a weird one. But
They heard the All-Star game wasn't going to determine World Series, and they were really happy about
Tyronn Lue went nuts, as he should have.
absolutely,
I don't think he could have believed it.
no.
And look, the whole thing with basketball this year, the NBA is a joke. We know how it's going to wind up. Maybe I'm beginning to doubt Golden State this year, but if not, it'll be San Antonio. But
or Los Angeles Clippers.
yeah, maybe. But
wow, that would be finally
Yeah.
for them. Because that would play in this narrative, the sort of baseball narrative, where everybody seems to have gotten their
So
shot.
far, my narrative for the NBA season thus far, and granted, it's December 3rd. It really means nothing until Christmas starts, I believe. But like the one thing is that there are other teams besides the Warriors and the Cavs. Now, mostly they're all in the West, but the Rockets are fun to watch. The Clippers are fun to watch. And I would say that while the Warriors are not dominating like they did last year, that double or triple overtime game the other night against the Rockets, while they ended up coming out on the short end, that was a great game. You know, I think we're getting a lot of good basketball this year. And it's
we
gonna be
are, and
interesting
we
come
also
April.
can make a case that there's a new name in the best players of basketball. All right.
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
No, James Harden.
That was first, so you
That
deserve
was
10
very
points for
good.
that, plus take the big bear on the top shelf.
James
That was
Harden
excellent.
is playing, the beard is playing unconscious.
Mike D'Antoni's offense.
Well, yeah, they changed coaching, they changed philosophies, but I just want somewhere in our record keeping, we do have to mark down today as the day that Bruce said because they don't have a defensive presence, the Warriors are going to run into trouble down the road.
Well, that doesn't mean they won't pick somebody up, all right? And Kerr's a great coach.
Yeah, he's just saying Jaja Pachulia.
He's not making it.
Yeah,
and they have no bench. They gave up their bench.
Maybe they'll trade for Zach Britton. He'll come in and be the closer, and that'll
they
fix
could use
that.
a closer.
Right, he's a left-hander. They're wily down on the post.
But one thing's for sure.
Zebo.
One thing, my brother calls me up last night in the fourth quarter of the Wizards game against San Antonio. He said, Bruce, the Wizards are going to beat San Antonio. I said, how many are they up by? He said 6. At the end of the third, I said, there's no shot. They're the worst team. They find ways to lose. I've never seen a team like this that finds ways to lose.
No team chemistry.
5-15, Freddie.
They're hard. I mean, how does Ernie Grunfeld? He must go. Wow. Let me check my bank account. Well, the check cleared. Oh my God.
I got a Mason question. What did I say the record's going to be?
What was it, 9-20 like every year?
9-20 like every year.
And that was seen on the Terp Talk postgame show.
Unbelievable, the Wizards. All right, with that, let's head out to our first break. Before we do, we have a new sponsor, but an old sponsor, if we can say that. There's a new Bagby's, everybody, on Foundry Row. This is a combination of the other two Bagby's. Bagby's downtown, and of course the less new Bagby's on in St. Thomas Woodhome Festival. Right, I'm sorry. Here you got the same pizzas, you got the same salads, but you have a tremendous order of pastas and subs. More of like a more than a pizza salad type restaurant. They still have the meatballs though. I know you'll be happy. Parking is easy. Foundry Row is great. It is just loaded with restaurants. And the new Bagby's on Foundry Row is certainly one of the best.
It's in Reisterstown Road, Owings Mills.
Correct. You've got to try it. If you like the Bagby's in Woodhome Festival, you'll love the Bagby's in Foundry Row. I still love the Bagby's downtown. There's 3 of them now, 3 Bagby's. With that, we'll go out to our first break. This is Bruce Posner along with Freddy and Wayne and Mason. We'll be back in a few minutes here on CBS Sports Radio 1300.
This afternoon at 1:45, Towson basketball is on CBS Sports Radio 1300. This time, the Tigers get ready to face a fierce competitor from the South, the Old Dominion Monarchs. The basketball season is kicking into high gear as Spiro Maurikas brings you every dunk and three-point shot. Live on the radio, the Tigers battle the Monarchs this afternoon at 1:45 on CBS Sports Radio 1300.
In selecting a professional, you always look to the backgrounds of the persons involved, particularly involving their experience, competence, and established performance. In Maryland, there's one #1 leader with regard to personal injury claims, and that's the firm of Science & Kirk. Science & Kirk have handled more auto accident cases than any law firm in the history of the state. The Science family is on their 3rd generation of attorneys that extend all the way back to the 1920s. Donald and his 3 sons make a formidable team representing their clients. Call their hotline 24/7 at 1-800-LAWYERS for assistance. That's 1-800-LAWYERS for assistance from Science & Kirk. Kelly Exchange is your one-stop shop for individual and family health insurance coverage. On kellyexchange.com, you can learn about healthcare reform, find out if you qualify for a subsidy, get quotes, compare insurance plans, and purchase coverage. With over 36 years of experience in the insurance industry, kellyexchange.com is the only website you need to help you navigate the complexities and confusion of healthcare reform and purchase quality insurance for you and your family. Visit kellyexchange.com today. There's no better place in Baltimore to buy your new or used car from than Coons Ford on Security Boulevard, across from Security Mall. Over the years, I have purchased many cars and trucks for GM Dennis Colatzos, receiving the best price, service, and comfort in dealing with a top-notch executive. Coons Ford Turp Talk listeners can view their inventory at CoonsFordBaltimore.com. Coons Ford carries a huge inventory of Motor Trend's Car of the Year, the Fusion, Hybrid Escapes, the 35-mile-per-gallon Focus, Mustangs, Expeditions, and of course the F-Series trucks. Coons Ford simply likes to make a little bit of money many times. What a great place to buy your new Ford. That's Coons Ford of Baltimore, 6970 Security Boulevard across from Security Square Mall. Take exit 17 off of 695. Remember, when you're talking cars, you're talking Coons.
Call 410-298-3800.
Baltimore, listen up. If you want crabs, you have to head to the Costas Inn on North Point Boulevard. There is no comparison in all of Maryland for the greatest crabs and crab cakes ever. Costas also serves unbelievable steamed shrimp, Greek salads, and steaks for lunch and dinner. Nick, Pete, and Costas Triantopoulos run the perfect restaurant to go with family and friends. Give Costas Inn a call at 410-477-1975 and tell them the Turp Talk guy sent you. Parsonizing Fine Dry Cleaning, the best in Baltimore. Located at Crondall Corner Shopping Center, 410-356-9600, and Woodhome Square Shopping Center, 410-653-1881. They specialize in fine dry cleaning, expert shirt service, elegant hand cleaning, men's and ladies' alterations. They are the best, the Parson Brothers, 410-356-9600. Mayer and Steinberg are insurance brokers representing Hartford, Travelers, Liberty Mutual, and Zurich, among others, specializing in restaurants, bars, law firms, accounting firms, and wholesalers. Workman's compensation is my good friend Paul Robinson's specialty, including contractors like heating, air conditioning, and landscape companies. Call them at 410-484-7000 and ask for Paul Robinson. Mayer & Steinberg is a 55-year-old insurance agency, family-owned and operated. They can also shop your current insurance coverages and in many instances save you premium. You can trust Mayer & Steinberg. My family and friends have done business with Paul and Mayer & Steinberg for years. There is no one better to represent you for your insurance needs. Call Mayer & Steinberg at 410-484-7000. I just discovered a great little neighborhood gourmet pizza and Italian-type restaurant in the Harbor area. Bagby Pizza on 1006 Fleet Street is just a great, fun place to have lunch or dinner 7 days a week. Bagby's features gourmet pizza, pastas, and salads at more than reasonable prices. Service is quick, there's plenty of seating, happy hour specials Monday through Friday, 4 to 7 p.m. But most important, the food is superb. Bagby Pizza, 410-605-0444. The Bagby's chain has opened up the new Bagby's Pizza in Woodhome Festival. It's pizzas and salads the way you want it. Get the big cheesy for $5.99 or make your own for a little more. 4 sauces, many toppings. Super salads, meatball specials. What a great, affordable pizzeria. Call the new Bagby's Pizza at 443-379-0566. That's the new Bagby's Pizza at 443-379-0566.
Welcome back to Sports Maven, presented by Coons Ford of Security Boulevard. Now, once again, here's Bruce Posner, the Sports Maven.
Cunningham's Cafe and Bakery. That's right, another Cunningham's restaurant.
Well, you guys are hot. You got sponsors who are growing, and that's great for them and good for us.
You get the right guy who grows and grows and grows, and apparently they're opening another one up in Towson. On One Olympic Place, free parking again across the street. This is a breakfast place, open from 9 in the morning until 2 in the afternoon. Always busy. The food is off the charts. Tons of seating, a lot of communal seating, which I know, Wayne, you like so much. Bagby's Market Breakfast, I love. You got brunch 7 days a week. Usually brunch is a Saturday, Sunday issue, not at the Cafe and Bakery of Cunningham's. Dynamite pastries. Try that chocolate croissant. That's a favorite of mine, Freddy. Definitely great.
I've heard they have a lot with a hot dog.
All right.
I've heard they have a lot of salads. What do they have?
Ton of salads. 7 salads. Anything you can think of. Hot and cold sandwiches. Espresso. All the Starbucks kind of coffee drinks. Cunningham's Cafe and Bakery. You'll love it. And that's at One Olympic Place in Towson, right below Cunningham's restaurant. All right. Now that we've decimated the Final Four, so most of you guys, I kind of believe that Virginia Tech's going to upset Clemson today. I've not been impressed by Clemson. They seem to lose games close. I know they're 10-point favorites.
How many games has Clemson lost this year?
Uno.
How many games have they lost? Wow, they lost a lot of games this year.
Well, you could say that, but there were two.
They lost one game. That's what you can say.
There were two 30-yard field goals that were shanked.
Pittsburgh. Did Pittsburgh miss one? Pittsburgh made it. Blew it, made it. Of all the names of a kicker, kids from Northern Virginia.
Right.
That was an incredible game.
But they've been very, very lucky to wind up with one win, but that's what they got.
The Louisville game.
That was a great game. What happened to Louisville?
Louisville is who we thought they were. That is Mason's #1 gangster outlaw program because, well, we won't get into what they do with the basketball team and all that. Let's get back on schedule here.
All right. So let's take a look at the 4 biggest games today in college. Then we'll take a look at Maryland basketball tonight, which is going to be a super game, a very tough game for Maryland. Temple's at Navy today. Navy's been incredible at home. They're actually favored over Temple. And this is for the AAC championship. And you got to love Navy today.
You got to love Navy. And I looked at all of the permutations the bowl committee went through just in case Western Michigan lost last night, which they didn't. They had an interception at the end. Ohio played really well. Was it 29-26 or 29-23?
30-23.
29-23. We stuck with that game for a while and went over to the other one. But it looks like Navy's going to end up, they'll probably take Temple today, although that's a really slim line. Something's up with that. So Navy would get to Mason. Where would they go if they're not going to make it to the Cotton Bowl? What's the alternative? Good. We'll go with that.
We'll go somewhere.
That was the Mime Bowl.
The Mime Bowl. Do you think the line's a little short?
Yeah, I do. It is a little suspicious. I would think it would be more, especially if the way they beat Houston at home and they beat everybody at home. So
they score 60, 70 points a game.
They got 70 last week?
It's incredible how many, and they throw the ball 4 times, and they score 70 points. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Temple's a similar team. This is like watching the old Big 8, like an Oklahoma-Texas game where they just run the wishbone.
Wisconsin, 2.5-point favorite over Penn State. They're playing that game in Indianapolis. That will be a great game tonight.
Should be a very low-scoring game, I think.
Is it possible that Saquon Barkley might be the Heisman Trophy winner?
Not this year.
No. I saw the Final Five. He's in the Final Five.
He won't be, there's no chance. Probably.
Right now, the gap between the #1, which is a quarterback from Louisville, and the Lamar Jackson, and everybody else.
It's like Alabama and everybody else.
It's Alabama and everybody else, but you got Jabril Peppers in there. Did he make the top 5?
Yes. Jabril Peppers, you can make a great case for him. Whatever, we'll see. That's next week? There's not a lot of talk about it, is it?
No, because there's no race. This guy seems to have won.
Is it locked in for Lamar?
Louisville, he's got to just throw 7 interceptions. It's too late.
He's not playing anymore. He's finished.
The voting's already in.
Yeah.
So you have Penn State. I take it you're positive.
Oh,
for
definitely.
Penn State
I think Penn State's going to win.
It's a bad year for the Heisman.
Clemson, 10-point favorites over Virginia Tech. I would, without question, take the points. I think Virginia Tech is going to give them hell. They've played great down the wire.
They're 10-5 against the spread in the last 15 games where they're underdog. They're 10-5. So
well, that's a pretty good record.
Yeah, if you're betting, but it doesn't really help them on the field.
Alabama, 24 points over Florida. I don't think that's enough, is it, Mason? No, I think that Alabama will win, obviously, easy. And according to everybody here, they're going to walk their way to the national championship. I have my doubts.
Walk their way? I don't know, but Florida has offensive problems out the wazoo.
So let's get to Maryland hoops, sorry. Now, the other day, not a good game for Maryland. Lots of reasons. Basically, they were beaten by a team who played much better than they did that day. And the shooting was horrible, and 3 games in 5 days. But Maryland is still a work in progress. If the bench does not improve, if Nickens doesn't start shooting and threw up 6 shots in 6 minutes?
Well, he shoots. He's got to make some.
Right. He's got to make some.
His minutes. Go ahead, Wayne.
The biggest thing is people have been killing Turgeon that he can't coach. They ran into a zone, and we had no answer. We sit pretty close to that court. 2 things happened that are going to make sure that you lose a game. Thing one is we played defense pretty well. Pittsburgh had a lot of last second and the 30-second clock shots. They all went in. In the first half, everything they threw up went in.
And they had two guys that are going to be in the NBA next year who are sensational players. I mean, those two guys stood out.
I was Artis, a 6'7" guard.
Artis
they
was just
stood out.
So that's thing one. Thing two is we watch the offense. Maryland runs the offense. They kick it to the corner. Guys open.
Wide open.
Shoots the ball. Boom, 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 and pops out. They do it again. Shoots an air ball. They do it again. These aren't, and I know coaching affects everything, but we had the shots. I think we have the players. We're not going to go on a 4 for 21 string of shooting threes when most of them were open because the zone was packed in. Some of this has to be on you got to make the shots. The offense worked.
First half, they weren't getting the shots like they did in the second half. The first half, they had no idea how to. They had no adjustments. They did not have any idea how to attack the zone, and the shots they were taking were not good shots. And the half-court offense for Maryland, what they primarily do, they move the ball around the perimeter. They usually pick a big man around the free throw line instead of pick. Guard will either drive or they just wait till the clock runs down and they chuck something up.
Sure, and I'm used to the way the team plays at this point. So saying that it's not the way that was designed, that's how we play. In the second half, the opportunities were there. If we made one or two more baskets, the tide would have turned and we would have won the game anyhow. And
the comeback was too daunting. I knew we weren't going to win down 21 at halftime.
Right.
And
you can't play 20 minutes.
You can't win. You can't do it every time.
You got to play 40 minutes. You can't play 20 minutes.
Michael Sikowski's playing well, which is a big factor in this team. But look, when the three freshmen had 3 games in 5 days, they wound up shooting poorly that game. It's not an excuse. They were beaten, so it's a loss. And the world's not coming to an end. They're 7-1, and now they come up against a team that scores 90 to 100 points a game tonight. Freddie,
they match up. I mean, OK State led by 3 perimeter players. Primarily, they have Juwan Evans, 6'1" guard, 25 points a game, 5 assists. Jeffrey Carroll, 6'6" ball player, 16 a game and 8 rebounds. And Phil Forte, a 5'11", 15 points a game. Size-wise, Maryland matches up beautifully against this team.
Yeah, Phil Forte is 5'6".
5'6"?
Yeah.
So at least
he shrunk. Kind of like
Mason's 5'11".
It's kind of like Shaquille Clear. He shrunk.
Right. So if you have a 5'6" kid, maybe we can post up Cowan on somebody today. That would be a nice look.
I think it's good. I'm going to tell you this much. I think it's going to be an utterly, utterly awesome game to watch.
5'11".
5'11". Okay.
He just grew. He had a spurt.
He just grew back.
A growth spurt in 5 seconds.
Well, our notes will be
I'm going to measure him tonight. I'm going to measure him.
So they do have one actual guy with size. The center is a 7-footer, a freshman. Maybe today we will see one of those games that you used to see at Cole Fieldhouse where it's an actual 100 to 95 game. And you go, that's one of the greatest games you've ever seen. And for a December game, it's going to just be a spectacular offensive show. Does it matter? Is it crushing if you lose a couple games in this stretch? Might hurt your NCAA tournament spot. But really, as Bruce keeps saying, I agree, this is a team that's you get a lot better idea in January as these freshmen really grow up. And that's what Turgeon's been saying, and I actually buy into that.
No, absolutely. You have 3 freshmen. You had Bender, who played very little last year. You had Wiley, who didn't play at all last year, only played a freshman, so the rust is on him. Mello, who's injured. So you have not only a young team, but a team that collectively hasn't played together at all.
So, Bruce, you've seen basketball for years and years and years. When you miss an entire year and bring up the thing that you grow up as a sophomore, and you miss sophomore year, how long should it take Wiley to actually get back in the flow?
Might take a year. It might take the rest of this year for him to get back. We don't know the recovery of the injury. We know that even a guy like Trimble last year, me and Freddy really believed he was hurt the entire year. And
he was. About the 5th game on, he had a hamstring problem.
And he never shot the ball well. He's playing so much better now, except everybody is on to him. I mean, it's like there's no secret about. So if you don't get wide open shots fall in, like from Nickens and all the other guys, you're going to be in trouble. But Mark Turgeon said something at the press conference last week, besides the fact that Pittsburgh was terrific. He said, I'll tell every coach out there, play me a zone. Please play a zone against me every week. All right, because if everybody plays zone against them, we're going to burn a lot of teams. And I really believe that. The shots that they had in the second half were, they attacked the zone. In the first half, I don't know what they were chucking up. They were chucking up garbage. I don't even know what they were doing. But in the second half, they calmed down. They had some great shots. They hit threes, just not enough to overcome a 21-point deficit. But big game tonight for Maryland as far as resume goes. That's all it is.
Okay, so before I know we're up against the clock again.
2.5-point favorite, just for the record.
Between Kevin Huerter, Cowan, and Justin Jackson, who we don't talk about enough, how impressed are you with these three kids that look to me to be the true future of this team?
Oh, I'm impressed beyond belief. I just think that Huerter, who's not hitting his shot, he was 2 for 9 the other night, will hit his shot. That's his forte.
Wasn't that Mike Jones and Layman's forte too?
Don't you think that Huerter is a better player than Mike Jones and projects to be a better player?
I think these three freshmen are the best three freshmen coming in together since Trimble, McMillan, and Elmore.
That's a long way back.
That's right. But as far as guys with skills, the three freshmen overall individually have better skills than anybody on the team.
Go back to which Trimble are you talking about for people who don't know?
Jack Trimble.
Jack Trimble, who unfortunately had a knee injury and there was no arthroscopic surgery at the time, which ruined his career.
I would like to see who came in with Albert King before I'd agree to that. All right, I don't remember.
Dutch Morley, Reggie Jackson, Albert King, and there's one more. Buck was a year different. So Ernie Graham? Is the same class?
I don't think
we have to check that. That's a good question. All right, let's head out to our second break. This is Bruce Posner. You're listening to Coons Ford Presents the Sports Maven. And we're going to talk a few minutes about a guy who made a comeback in the past 2 days pretty impressively. Back in a few minutes here on CBS Sports Radio 1300. At Baltimore Neurosurgery and Spine Center, the professionals provide the highest quality care to the patients. My friends over at Baltimore Neurosurgery and Spine Center are fellowship-trained, board-certified neurosurgeons and interventional pain specialists that specialize in treating all spinal and intracranial disorders with more than 20 years of combined experience. The practice is founded by Dr. Ira Goranczyk and his partner Jim Conway. These two doctors are perennial Baltimore's top doctors. Not only do they perform complex inpatient procedures, but they also specialize in minimally invasive outpatient surgeries. If you're having problems with your neck or back, call my good friends Dr. Ira Goranczyk and Dr. James Conway at Baltimore Neurosurgery and Spine Center, 410-664-3680. Once again, that's Baltimore's best neurosurgeons at 410-664-3680. Cunningham's, part of the Bagby chain, the newest restaurant in town at One Olympic Place in Towson. Free valet parking, open every night. The food there is fantastic. I've been there. Decor, the whole atmosphere at Cunningham's is super. I highly, highly recommend it. But of course, when it's part of the Bagby chain and the Smith family, you know it's going to be a success. 410-339-7730. That's Cunningham's at One Olympic Place in Towson. Bruce Posner here with a message brought to you by Chesapeake Urology. Guys, if you broke your right arm, would you just say, heck, I'll live with it, and make do with the left? Of course not. So why is it so many men with erectile dysfunction throw up their hands, assume it's just a part of getting older, and choose to live with it? The experts at Chesapeake Urology have treatments that can help virtually all men resume a normal sex life. Whether you're 48, 64, or 84, their doctors specialize in ED, and most treatments are covered by insurance. Even if you've tried pills without success, the specialists at Chesapeake Urology can show you better treatments. Don't live with something you don't have to. Call Chesapeake Urology at 877-422-8237. That's 877-422-8237.
Are you losing your home or being evicted? Are your wages being garnished? My name is Mark Apple, and I'm the bankruptcy attorney with Waldman, Grosshold, Apple & Bear, and we have been helping Marylanders for over 40 years. Call me at 1-888-8-LEGAL-6 for immediate help. The bankruptcy laws are made to protect you. Protect yourself, your home, your family from financial disaster. Call me, Mark Apple, at 1-888-8-LEGAL-6 or check us out at our website at waldmangrosshold.com.
No one likes lawyers until they need one. But if you've dealt with an insurance company, you know that you're not in good hands, they're not good neighbors, and they're not on your side. I'm Mike Grossfeld. At Waldman Grossfeld Apple and Bear, we've been protecting the rights of people for over 40 years. If you've been seriously injured in an accident, hurt on the job, or have suffered at the hands of a negligent doctor, call me, Mike Grossfeld, at 888-8-LEGAL-6. That's 888-8-LEGAL-6. We'll fight for you.
It's my pleasure to welcome the Supreme Neighborhood Market, Gourmet Again, to the Terp Talk family. Now under the new ownership of Andy Huffman, Gourmet Again on 3717 Old Court Road continues its tradition of being a specialty food market with all meals, soups, and sandwiches being homemade. My family and all of Northwest Baltimore knows that Gourmet Again is the best market around. Let Gourmet Again cater any party or special occasion that you are having. I absolutely love Gourmet Again. Call 410-484-9393. Gourmet Again is open 7 days a week. Visit them on the web at gourmetagain.com. The phone number, once again, 410-484-9393. That's Gourmet Again.
Mondays, join Jeremy Kahn at Buffalo Wild Wings in White Marsh. Enter the Best Seats in the House contest presented by Bud Light. You could win a party for you and 5 friends. Sponsored by Lazy Boy and Classic Car Executive Services.
This is the Sports Maven Show, presented by Coons Ford of Security Boulevard. Now, here's the Maven himself, Bruce Posner.
Before we get to Tiger, we didn't make a final prediction. Wayne, do the Terps win tonight?
Terps win tonight in a blaze of glory. It's to be one of the greatest games you've ever seen in
I
a
doubt that.
non-conference.
Freddie?
Terps 104, Oklahoma State 96.
That would be unbelievable to see a game like that. That really
You
would
just told me it wasn't going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
All right. Well, what do you have for tonight?
Wow. I feel real bad about this game.
Uh-oh. Not again.
I'm not going to predict it. I hope I'm wrong. I feel real bad about this game.
But you can watch what we thought about it on TerpTalk.com tomorrow.
Correct.
We'll have a post-game show.
This is a much tougher game than people think.
And I've heard we might have Sean Mosley as our special guest tonight.
How'd you wind up with that?
Our guys found the guy. He's supposed to be the player of the game, the guy they bring out and say, tonight's Terp of the night.
Oh, man,
so
now I'm really excited, yeah.
You get to
I
interview.
love Sean.
And we don't have an interview with Sean on video, so this will be great.
We might have one in the archives, one of my old scratchy ones. But whatever. I love Sean. Anyway, big game tomorrow, guys. And it's not the Redskins. It's the Ravens against Miami. I didn't know.
Hot Miami Dolphins.
6 wins in a row, Freddie?
And they haven't done this probably since Don Shula days.
6 wins in a row? I mean, Laramie Tunsil is back.
He's playing exceptionally well.
Yes.
High marks. I heard you gave him very high marks.
Yeah. He was smoking.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, they're without their best offensive lineman, which really hurts them. Pouncey, who's a fantastic center, is out for the game, and that's going to affect their offense dramatically.
All right.
How do you say the name of the tailback? Who wants to go first here?
Auji.
Jay Ajayi.
Ajayi.
Thank you, Mason.
Jay Ajayi.
Listen,
Ajayi.
he has run. Now, is he the guy who ran for 200 yards 2 weeks in a row?
Correct.
Where's he from, Freddie? Where'd he go to school?
Boise State.
Boise State.
And Mason is correct.
Was he that great at
All right,
Boise
Mason,
State?
you have the board.
Was he that great at Boise State?
I mean, people always thought that he was going to develop into a really good NFL running back, but it didn't look like at the beginning of the season, and now he's burst into what Miami thought he could be.
Is Brandon Albert back this week? That's another big factor on the line for Miami. He was out last week, and yet they still found a way to score 31 points. I know that
They played San Francisco. It's not really finding a way. They just have to show up.
Yeah.
Laramie Tunsil has been super, and Ryan Tannehill, I always thought he was, he never got protection on that team.
Never. The guy was sacked 6-7 times a game. It seemed he just never had a chance to throw the ball deep because he never had time. He's a very athletic kid.
You know how all these quarterbacks become wide receivers when they don't make it as a quarterback? This is a kid who played some wide receiver at Texas A&M and becomes a quarterback and goes on the NFL. Who's the latest one that's going to make a comeback as a wide receiver? Do anybody know who I'm talking about? Because I don't remember who I'm talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Other than Pryor, there's another college quarterback who went to the NFL, couldn't make it as a quarterback. And
Denard Robinson?
that's one, but there's another guy. We'll
DeMarcus
get for it
Russell?
next time.
Are we projecting on Lamar Jackson already?
What's Wayne thinking?
I don't even know. I don't even know.
You're too excited.
481-1300. Call in and what's Wayne thinking?
Well, you look at the strength of Miami, and I don't follow the Dolphins, but
then how are you going to look at the strength? You don't know anything about them.
Because I'm reading about them. Leonte Carew.
Is this from the internet? Because you can always believe what's on the internet.
Leonte Carew
was fabulous at Rutgers. Very good wide receiver.
Was he one of the guys that burned us in that game a few years ago?
Yes, along with a lot of other. The great Ralph comeback in the second half. Carew was fantastic.
Rashawn Scott.
Never heard of him.
I'm looking at a team, and I guess that's why they're doing well. Nobody knows who they are, and yet they're in a playoff hunt. They now own the second spot, but a loss would be tough on them. They're not going to win every game. I do believe that the Ravens are playing better. I do believe that last week was a pretty good effort. The offense still isn't there.
How was that? What? When you say a better effort, explain what you mean.
They're running the ball a little bit better. Their play selection's a little bit better. And if it's conceivable, if it's possible, if it's even in the mind, Justin Tucker's getting better. I don't know how you could get better.
How many games have they scored one touchdown and that was it?
Too many.
Like 6 or 7?
Too many, but the defense is there. How many times
they go down the field, the first time they get the ball, they look like world beaters, then the other team makes adjustments and Baltimore makes no adjustments. And the thing that's really confusing, which leads me to believe that there could be big changes at the end of the season unless the team really straightens out, which I think at best they're mediocre anyway, is they have Trestman they bring in and they get rid of him because we want to, be more balanced and we want to run the ball. And then they bring
Marty
Morningweg in, and it's just exactly the same offense. They get away from the run. They start running early. They get away from the run, and the offense is just dismal.
On the Thursday press conference for the coordinators, Marty Morningweg did say that he felt that the offense was too conservative in the second half against the Bengals, and that is on him. He felt that he personally could have done more to, change things up a little bit more, and he's hoping that, going into this week they're going to need to rely on the running game more, and they plan on it. And they're also hoping that Mike Wallace, who has a bit of a chip on his shoulder because they didn't give him any help when he was in Miami, that almost cost Mike Wallace his career. I mean, he got dumped off to Minnesota left for dead, and he's resurrected his career here in Baltimore, and he wants some revenge against Miami.
All right, I'm going to talk about this a lot more tomorrow, but look at it real quick. Look, it's us and the Steelers. That's what it's about the rest of the year.
Absolutely.
It's nothing else matters.
Though I think both teams are basically pretending.
And Miami has the head-to-head against the Steelers, which is important because this is why this game is so important tomorrow. Because Miami has the head-to-head against the Steelers. If they also have the head-to-head against the Ravens, any sort of wild card or
I don't even
seeding
think
scenario,
a wild card.
Who's left on Miami's schedule?
I don't care about Miami. I care about the Steelers. The Giants. All right, this week at home.
8 wins for the Gents. Nobody knows about it.
7.5-point underdogs. There's a reason. Then they go to Buffalo. Going to be a tough game for the Steelers. At Cincinnati, who knows? That's an equal with us. They got us at home. They're definitely favored. And they finished the season with the Browns. They've got the edge in the schedule, almost to the point where I do believe the Ravens might have to beat Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh to win the division.
And what Pittsburgh does have, which Baltimore does not have, or particularly in offense, 3 impact players. With Roethlisberger, Bell, and Brown.
But Baltimore has a better defense. And with the return of Elvis Dumervil, it's been a much better team.
It's only one game he's been back, really.
Right, but Suggs was unbelievable last week. He was fantastic. And if Suggs stays at that level and I just have a lot of confidence. The game where we might have a shot, where everybody's going to say we don't have a shot, is at New England without Gronkowski. I don't think that game is totally unwinnable.
Monday Night Football.
We play
we always play them well.
We always play them really well. As far as like last week, we're playing a team that was talented, underperforming, and injured. So
all right, we only got a minute left here. Tiger Woods, Freddy. He played unbelievable yesterday.
Yeah, however, it's a very easy course. I mean, it's not demanding course, but he's 7 birdies, no bogey. He's at a 65. You can see he's got touch. He was putting the ball much better off the tee in the fairway. Long way to go. He's building confidence, but he's still the most impactful player in golf. If he's around for the final day or for the weekend, the casual viewer will watch.
Not on a Sunday, not on football season. But anyway, he's playing great. He's playing great, and he was 7 under. He had 3 bad holes in a row on the first day, shot a triple bogey to ruin the round. So be it. Real quick, finally, Ravens, Dolphins, who you like on Sunday?
I think the Dolphins streak has to end somewhere, and just on the odds, I'm picking your Ravens.
Okay, Freddy?
Just to annoy you. Well, no. The Ravens will win 26-10.
Okay. I think the Ravens will win by 3. We're out of time. Thanks to everybody. This is Bruce Posner. You've been listening to Coons Ford Presents the Sports Maven. See you tomorrow on In the Nest. Glenburnie Transmission celebrates its 55th year in serving the Baltimore, Maryland area with stellar transmission work. My good friend Mark Schwartzman provides factory transmissions remanufactured for sometimes hundreds less than the dealer. Call or email Glenburnie Transmissions for a free and accurate price quote at gbt-online.com. 1 year, same as cash financing available. Free area towing. Glenburnie Transmissions can also supply low-mileage used transmissions with a warranty to fit your budget. Don't forget, we work on all imported autos as well. Call 410-766-8500 when you need transmission work. That's 410-766-8500. That's Glenburnie Transmissions, 7166 Glenburnie Highway. Since 1915, Atman's Deli has been serving up the best delicatessen in Baltimore on 1019 East Lombard Street. Atman's is open 7 days a week with an incredible menu, including all your delights. Call Elaine for all your catering needs at 410-563-2666. Remember, Atman's is open every Ravens game in the stadium at Section 118. Nothing is better for me than a pastrami sandwich at Atman's Deli. Vision Source of Linthicum and Dr. Stephen Polikoff offer the latest in vision care technology. New wavefront guided technology creates high-resolution eyeglass lenses. Vision Source of Linthicum announced it is now using wavefront technology to prescribe eyeglass lenses that enable the patient to see in high resolution without the surgery. Dr. Polikoff uses the Z-View Aberrometer, the latest in wavefront technology, to quickly and accurately map a patient's eyes for irregularities that can cause vision problems such as distortions, glare, and halo around lights. This exam produces an eye print. The eye print is like a fingerprint of the eye, and each person's is unique. The eyes-on lenses are then made based upon your personal eye print. Dr. Polikoff, located at 413 South Camp Mead Road in Linthicum, has been serving the community for over 30 years. The practice specializes in optimizing vision and has never seen a lens in all that time that has produced results like the eyes-on lens. Call 410-859-3111 to schedule an appointment. In selecting a professional, you always look to the backgrounds of the persons involved, particularly involving their experience, competence, and established performance. In Maryland, there's one number one leader with regard to personal injury claims, and that's the firm of Science & Kirk. Science & Kirk have handled more auto accident cases than any law firm in the history of the state. The Science family is on their third generation of attorneys that extend all the way back to the 1920s. Donald and his 3 sons make a formidable team representing their clients. Call their hotline 24/7 at 1-800-LAWYERS for assistance. That's 1-800-LAWYERS for assistance from Science & Kirk. There's no better place in Baltimore to buy your new or used car than Coons Ford on Security Boulevard, across from Security Mall. Let's talk Coons pre-owned certified used cars. All of our listeners can buy with confidence. Coons Ford of Baltimore has an exclusive 7-day exchange policy. If for any reason whatsoever customers want to exchange a vehicle within 7 days, no problem. Coons Ford simply likes to make a little bit of money many times. That is why they take a lot of time to make sure we have the lowest priced pre-owned vehicles on the web. When our listeners go to our website, CoonsBaltimoreFord.com, they will see all of the outstanding values we have to offer. That's Coons Ford of Baltimore, 6970 Security Boulevard, across from Security Square Mall. Remember, when you're talking cars, you're talking Coons.
Call 410-298-3800.
In selecting a professional, you always look to the backgrounds of the persons involved, particularly involving their experience, competence, and established performance. In Maryland, there's one number one leader with regard to personal injury claims, and that's the firm of Science & Kirk. Science & Kirk have handled more auto accident cases than any law firm in the history of the state. The Science family is on their third generation of attorneys that extend all the way back to the 1920s. Donald and his three sons make a formidable team representing their clients. Call their hotline 24/7 at 1-800-LAWYERS for assistance. That's 1-800-LAWYERS for assistance from Science & Kirk.
The opinions expressed in the preceding paid program do not necessarily represent those of WJZ AM 1300, CBS Radio, its employees and sponsors.
Sports Radio 1300 is WJZ Baltimore, WJZ HD3 Catonsville, Baltimore, the flagship station for Towson Tigers football and Towson Tigers basketball.
CBS Sports Radio. We hit terminus!